And welcome once again to another episode of the Horizon Roundtable. I am Bob McDonald, and you can find me on Twitter at Bob McDonald. And joining me back from his abbreviated tour is Matt Dudek.
Hey there, everybody. Long time no talk.
Matt, of course, you can find on Twitter at Horizon Matt. You can find us on Twitter at Horizon RT. I do this at the end, and I should do this at the beginning because you can find all our episodes at HorizonRoundtable.com and subscribe. You can go. We're on every podcast app, so iTunes, Spotify, Google Play Music, wherever we're there. Subscribe to us. That way, we don't have to beg you for like listens and stuff. I mean, we'll still do it, but
We'll definitely still do it though.
we'll still do it. So yeah, Matt, geez, you've missed a lot.
What happened? What's going on?
The world went to shit. That's what happened.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of in the middle of the world. I was literally in the middle of the country as the world went to shit, which was a whole experience in itself and a different podcast for a different day about those travels. But
Oh man,
yeah, things got crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. So
I leave for 2 weeks and things just get nuts. Can't you guys hold down for while I'm gone? My God.
hey, I don't control those things.
Jeez,
But yeah, but and as I said last episode, if I do remember last episode, it was last week. It seems like a year ago. Um, um, you know, the only difference between now and what usually happens during the off season is that the off season started about 3 weeks early. And most of us are sheltered in our homes right now. So, hey,
Stay home.
yes, good Lord, stay home. Get off the fucking beaches, you morons.
Stay home.
Uh, so, um, but yeah, I mean, the wheels keep on turning, and obviously, you missed Steve McClain getting fired.
I mean, I missed it, but I was there tweeting, and again, I've been saying it for months and months, and it went exactly as I have.
I really thought for sure he saved his job, but apparently I'm an idiot.
Well, we knew that too.
That's true. That's what we are, idiot fans.
I'm just a dumb fan. I just happen to be a dumb fan that has been
Yeah,
calling.
so apparently the maybes that I kept spouting out for the last month, yeah, those are all wrong as it turns out.
I mean, you guys talked about it. I don't want to rehash it, but it's exactly.
Well, I do want. Well, we're now getting to the point of having actual people like being interested in the job. So I actually did want to talk about one specific name I thought was of particular interest, and that's Armand Gates, who is the assistant coach at Nebraska for Fred Hoiberg. Apparently, he's expressed Hoop Dirt, I believe. Good, actually, great, way better than Hoop Dirt at Hoop Dirt on Twitter. Outstanding site. I got to get that guy on the podcast at some point in time because that guy definitely knows his stuff. But yeah, so yeah, they put out a list of people who are interested. That sounds like they're interested, and Armand Gates was one of them. So, and that intrigues me a little bit. Just for, I mean, come on, Gates, hello.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not educated. Is there a relation there?
Armand Gates is Dennis Gates' brother.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Cool. Well, I mean, that would be awesome, except for the fact that if he coaches anything like his brother, they're going to be good.
Good, because we need as many good coaches as we can get in this freaking league. We got to get better.
It's true. Well,
I'm cool with that. I'm legitimately good with that.
UIC is going to have to figure out the recruiting game. You know, if this wasn't the team that could get it done, when that was the the be all end all recruitment year for them, like they're going to have to figure out how to recruit Chicago and get kids to Chicago, and that's where they're still.
Well, you got to remember too, and I guess I don't not for nothing, but remember that Dennis and Armand Gates are from Chicago. They're actually Chicago kids born and raised. So I think that part of it really. I really think would be something. Here's the wrinkle though, and this part is important, is that Jeff Goodman is reporting that Cleveland State is actually going to Nebraska next season. So a little bit of awkwardness if they go to Nebraska next season and his brother is at UIC.
Nebraska will buy them out and they'll all move on with their day.
Or not. I mean, or
Or
not.
not. Yeah, that's fine too.
I mean, it's not like it's not out of the. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that I would definitely think that that would be a thing. I mean, truthfully, and realistically, I mean, if you're in a situation like Armand Gates, who like his brother wants to be in a situation where he's a coach, I mean, UIC, why not? It's a
I
yeah,
mean,
again,
you
and again, it's a chance for him to go home.
UIC should be an attractive job. They have nice facilities. There's some money there. There's a new AD, like fresh start. You should get a couple years to get it done. Like
Yeah,
that should be a job that people are gonna want if they're looking to get their mid-major coaching on. You know.
absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing, there's no shame in that at all. I mean, and absolutely, and again, as I've talked about, between Howard after when Steve McLean came in, you know this UIC was a giant wreck before Steve McLean came in, but it was clear after about year 3 or 4 that no matter what kind of talent he had, he couldn't get him over past just above 500.
You
So
know,
that was
honestly,
kind of
he's like in my opinion, the anti-Campy right now, where Campy can't manage kids, he can't seem to get some recruiting done, but he can sure as hell coach a game.
oh
You
yeah,
know,
absolutely.
if McLean could coach a game, he'd be looking at high major offers. He had it all there, but he just couldn't coach when it mattered.
Yeah, this is true, and I mean, but it is what it is. I mean, that's kind of and I think that is probably what the AD Michael Lippitz is thinking too. And plus too, and keep this in mind as well, that all of his main players are basic. His seniors are gone. I mean, he's got no Godwin Bowen, no Tarkus Ferguson, no Marcus Adi, Jordan Blount's gone. I mean, it's gonna be a rebuild job no matter who's in the job. And given that Steve McLean is in the final year of his was in the final year of his deal, naturally makes sense. But yeah, I will absolutely be very interested in the whole how that whole thing shakes out. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I don't want to switch. I don't want to spend too much time on the coronavirus, like literally at all. But apparently, man, what the hell happened in Indianapolis?
Which part?
Because apparently one of the
Oh,
refs tested positive
yeah. So a
during
ref tested
during
positive. It seems to be floating through Cleveland State's women's team for sure.
yes, that is true.
Um, So I mean, it was definitely present in at the Horizon League championships there. So that's scary, but that's just the reality of how this whole
Yeah, I
virus is
mean,
playing out.
yeah,
You know?
because that was it. He was the ref for the UIC Wright State game. One of the refs was tested positive, and I know Wright State's on lockdown right now.
I mean, everyone should be, but I mean,
Oh
it
yeah, I
is.
mean seriously, yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's just like, wow, it's
Who's
just
the? I know I follow him on Twitter. It's I think it's a Cleveland State manager.
Jaden Stambolia. Yeah,
Yeah, I couldn't think of how to pronounce his name, and I didn't want to pronounce it wrong. Yeah, yeah, I know he said he's got it and he's doing
yeah,
okay. So
yeah,
shout out there. Hopefully he's listening and feeling better. But I mean, that just tells you it was there and present.
yeah. That is true. I mean, and it's just one of those things. I mean, oh, yeah, it's just I don't even know what to say at this point.
I mean, nothing to
Other
say.
than wash your hands and stay inside.
Yeah, I am selfishly very happy to be not on the road at this point. I
Oh
had to go
God.
through O'Hare Airport a week ago, which was not something I particularly want to do. It was weird. It was like a ghost town in there, but happy to be home.
Unless you went to the international arrivals and it was a complete clusterfuck. So
No, I was not. I was happily
good
in.
for you.
I had to go from C to F. That was the most travel I had to do within that airport, and yeah. But
It's
now
a
I'm trying to stay away from everybody because you never know.
That
Is
is
what.
true. Oh, also, I just wanted to point out, yeah, getting back to actual basketball.
Oh yeah,
Uh, and,
basketball.
well, UIC is what is it with the search firms? I don't understand that. I mean, I guess I do, but I kind of don't. Because apparently Parker Search is going to be doing this, is the search firm that's going to be helping them, and I'm like, oh, good for you. And yeah, the names the names that are coming up already are, let's see here, Armand Gates, obviously, Kansas assistant Jarrence Howard, and former Illinois special assistant Jamal Walker, and Western Michigan head coach Steve Hawkins. Didn't he just get fired?
He did just get fired, and I don't think anybody wants that. I think Hawk's a good coach. He was at Western for like 17 years, but I think it's past him. I think it's time for him to become an assistant and just kind of
Yeah, that doesn't make
fade
any
away.
sense. That makes no sense whatsoever. I'm like, oh wow, okay. No, yeah, that's a no for me, dog. But then again, I'm not a UIC fan, so there you go.
I have a different piece of Horizon news. Can I bring this to the table too?
Absolutely.
Did you see that they announced, even though they're not playing at the 3-on-3 teams for this year?
Yes, we posted it on the Horizon Roundtable. I posted off the account.
That is not the best team that the Horizon could put together of seniors.
Yeah, because and for those of you who follow this, obviously every year on top of the NCAA tournament during Final Four weekend, the NCAA also hosts a 3-on-3 tournament, and they have 4 players from each of the conferences participate.
And they have to be seniors, right?
They have to be seniors. That is correct, because
Okay.
there's money. Because apparently there's money involved. So yeah, obviously they have to be seniors, and they don't have any more eligibility. So yeah, that was an interesting list, and I think it was weird because it was like pretty much all guards.
Yeah, so you've got Dantes Walton. Okay,
Yeah.
good player. Billy Wampler. Okay, good player, but I don't know about a top senior, but okay. Tarkus Ferguson. Okay, good player. Jaquan McLeod. Okay, good player. Like it's the same player 4 times.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. There's no, and no big guys at all. I mean, but but then again, this senior class wasn't really heavily laden with big guys. So
I mean, I'm biased, but I would have wanted Xavier Hilmays on my team in the 3-on-3 tournament, but that's just me. I'm an Oakland guy.
That would have been used. Well, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm saying no big guys, and there's FedEx sitting right there. I'm like, God.
Maybe he'd already said he wasn't interested. Who knows? But I was just when I saw that team, I went, "Ooh, I'm kind of glad they're not playing because I don't think that would have done well."
Yeah. And maybe, yeah, and it's yeah. I guess it works for the time, for the purpose, I suppose. I mean, if we're being honest, it's not like the Horizon League didn't exactly do all that great last year either. But I mean,
no. Well, I'm not going to break down 3-on-3 conference tournament championship things that aren't happening, but I just wanted to put that out there.
I just thought of that too. Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's quite a list. I mean, but there are a lot of people they could have chosen from, because there were quite a few there were quite a few really good guys that are in there that kind of got snubbed. But it is what it is. It's not happening anymore anyway, so.
Doesn't matter. Great. Moving on.
So, one of the things that also has popped up, obviously, now that the season is over, is we are now starting to see. We're now starting to see the transfers come to the fore. But before I do that, I have to also point out the fact that before I get into the transfers, I also want to remind all of you that IUPUI is an open job. Jeff Goodman said so.
I did miss that. So that is, I mean,
yeah, he actually he tweeted a list of the open jobs, and IUPUI was one of them. I mean, we knew it was, and we knew that. Byron Rim obviously is not going to be the permanent guy, even though technically he is the guy right now. And he is still the guy right now. And it's interesting that he is still the guy right now, and all the players are still there.
Yeah, no one has jumped into the portal that we're aware of, which is interesting.
That I don't know. That is a weird thing. I kind of am a little surprised by that. I would think. I mean, the kids are coronavirus or no coronavirus, kids are jumping in the portal.
A portal.
Coaches are getting fired. Kids are getting in the portal. As far as the NCAA silly season is going, it's business as usual, basically.
Portal is full. There's no social distancing happening there. They are closer than 6 feet in that portal. They are jamming in.
Yes, that is true. But no IUPUI guys, none.
Yeah.
So what does that even? I mean, I'm not, maybe we're reading in too much into that. Maybe they're just biding their time. I
They're
don't
just.
know.
I'm gonna guess they're just that they have agreed to wait it out and see what the plan is. And you know what? Good for them. That's the mature right response. So cool. Like that means
Okay,
that they're gonna kind of sit back and see what's going on, I guess.
that's interesting. Yeah, and I mean, you can't fault them. It's not like
No.
anybody's gonna be. It's not like anybody's going anywhere until like May anyway.
Well, and right
I
now,
mean, the signing. I mean, listen. I mean, yeah, it's probably it's the signing period, which is supposed to start April 15th. That is probably going to get bumped back a couple weeks because of all
well, and
this
they put
stuff.
a now is a dead time.
Yeah,
they changed some things, right? I mean,
yeah, they
of
did.
course, Oakland compliance. Mari is going to listen to this and tell me I'm stupid because I am, but I'm sure I'm using wrong terms as I always do. But now is a dead time, so coaches cannot contact high school recruits and other. They can only have pretty much have contact with their own team, is my understanding.
No, not stopping. Yeah, that's I. Yeah, as far as I know, that's how that whole thing works. I
So
guess, but
coaches are just reaching out to players' parents instead of the players directly right now. I'm sure, but whatever, fine.
would be that would be my guess. I guess.
I mean, Trey Maddox had posted something about how he can't wait to finally start doing some of his visits and all that. So I mean, we know he's in the portal, he's looking, but obviously not
Nice
out.
segue, by the way, because I was going
Oh,
to talk about
segue.
Oakland. Segue into Oakland situation
All right,
where
so
okay, so
let me
yeah,
just do
you
it.
go ahead, you obviously, because you know this, you know more about this than anybody, because obviously, I mean,
All right,
obviously,
so here's what I've spent way too much time while I was on the road talking to a lot of people, and here in Detroit sports radio, we would say they get the siren. I'm not saying I'm some crazy insider, but I've had some conversations with some people about this whole situation. And what it comes down to is, at the end of the day, yeah, it's a lot of transfers for Oakland, but it's none of it surprising. The only one that sucks is Maddox. Um, I don't want to get into that situation too much because it's not my story to tell, but I'm disappointed to see him going. It wasn't a foregone conclusion. Up until even a couple days ago, I would not have been surprised to see him decide that maybe he wants to continue at Oakland, but it sounds like he's going to go forward, and that's his choice. It's Trey Maddox is gambling on himself, and you know what? There's something to be said for that. He thinks that there's
why
something
not?
to, I'm not going to fault him on that.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't necessarily agree, but there's a lot of me that's the Oakland fan in that, and that's fine. The rest of the Oakland transfers, none of it's surprising. The only one that again disappoints me is CJ Gettelfinger. That one's a weird situation because he signed as a sophomore in high school. This kid was supposed to be the future of Oakland's point guards, and can't be just pretty much shit on him from get go. For whatever the reason was, it never was going to work. So we knew that he was going to transfer for a while. I think he might still get some Div 1 looks. But otherwise, none of the Oakland transfers are surprising. I mean, Jackie Harris was a recruit that signed out of his school, so that's like fine. But he was Chris Palambizio reincarnated in my world. He was, he wasn't going to amount to a whole lot here. I'm glad he got his Div 1 look, and he's probably going to go down to Div 2 or whatever. That's fine. The rest of those players, I mean, they were all late additions. They got they got to look at what Div 1 life was like, and there wasn't a big fit for them here. What this does show me though is Campy is struggling to recruit. Campy and his team are not recruiting well, and that's what these transfers show us is, for whatever reason, they're getting these kids here, but they're either not able to keep them, or they're not fulfilling the promises, or whatever the case is, they're not recruiting well, and that's what's going to catch up to Campy in Oakland real soon. All of his freshman classes from the past 2 years are decimated. You've got Babatunde is left, and he'll actually be a pretty big piece next year. Yusuf Jihad is the only freshman that was signed from last year that's still on Oakland's team, and he was redshirted. Most people don't even know he exists, and that's fine. He's been getting stronger, and he was 17 for most of this year. He's a young freshman, so he's just getting bigger. But otherwise, a lot of these players, it's not surprising, and I hope that they find what they're looking for. I think Madison Monroe might have some Div 1 abilities, but the rest of them, I mean, they probably don't. Sorry, Zach Goodline fan club. I was trying to say this, and you guys jumped all over my stuff all year, but he's not a Div 1 player. he wasn't going to be going to Div 1 until Oakland had a bunch of openings, and they gave him a chance, and I'm glad he saw the floor. I hope he succeeds. I wish good things for him, but he's not a Div 1 player. Um, I wouldn't be surprised still to see one more name from Oakland, but I keep hearing that, but I haven't seen it in the portal, so maybe not. So we'll see.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
that's my Oakland rundown from the past 2 weeks.
yeah, they only have two freshmen left from the last year, right? That Newsom and Blake Lampman, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
And then Yusuf Jihad as well.
Yeah, because and he was a red shirt though, right?
Correct, but
Okay.
depending on who you talk to, he's either going to be really good or not. And I hear two different sides to that story, and I'm gonna hopefully sit on the really good side. Really, this team's gonna come. It's gonna be Rashad Williams' team, and hopefully
Yeah.
that there's people that want to play with him. Hopefully, the Rashad's able to help recruit, and they can get some pieces around him. As long as nobody else leaves, if Dan Oladapo is still here, that's a nice big
Yeah.
down low to clean up. Babatunde and Youssef are the other bigs, so they could add one more big hopefully. Although they have a freshman big coming in from Illinois, Conway, I think is his last name. So I think he's a 7-footer. I'm sure he's a project, but he'll have to see some early time. Campy's convinced he's got his point guard of the future with this kid, Holyfield. I don't know. I mean, I don't put anything in underclassmen at this point, but who knows? So Campy seems to have a plan. I don't know if it'll work anymore, but we'll see. And hopefully this team comes together in the next couple months.
That would be very helpful. So yeah, so that's not the only place. It's weird because you other than because I'm looking at kind of the contributions from this year, and only Trey Maddox really stands out to me. It just seemed to me for a lot of the other guys who transferred, it was only a matter of time before they would.
Yep.
And it makes, I mean, for them, I think it makes sense because they want to find a place there. They fit a lot better than clearly they did at Oakland.
Why sit on the bench and get yelled at by Campy all the time? And I get it. Like, I mean, if
Well,
it's
that
not
said,
fit,
though,
why?
and I'm looking at what I'm looking at too is that now you have like a whole bunch of openings, and it's like, okay, what are we gonna do here?
Well,
And I'm
hopefully, it's for a long time, and other Horizon fans used to give him all kinds of shit for it. But for a long time, Campy was really good at getting that junior, senior coming down from maybe a high major and giving them that look,
yeah.
and capitalizing on it. He hasn't had those in the past couple of years, but
Mhm.
hopefully he can. Whether it's hopefully it's not because they got in trouble. I never liked a lot of those signings, although some of them worked out pretty well.
Sure.
Kendrick Nunn looking at you, but hopefully he can find some kids that just aren't super happy in their current situation and they want to come put up some points and get back to playing Oakland basketball. I
Hey,
think that's
the
what it's going to
the
sell.
portal is open. The portal is open.
It's open, and I don't think it's even close to done being with kids. I think there's a lot of those juniors right now that are trying to figure out if they can finish their classes
Yeah.
and graduate and what that's going to look like. And
I mean,
are we gonna get the one time anyone can transfer anywhere rule? That's
yeah.
still a very likely thing. It sounds like. I mean, there's a lot to this.
Yeah, Chris Conway is the guy because
Thank you.
right as of right now they have Joel Hollefeld signed, they have Trey Townsend committed, and Phillips Joseph and Chris Conway. All those guys are coming in.
Townsend, from what I've heard, is a walk-on. He's actually a legacy. His dad Skip was an Oakland great, so that's pretty cool.
Nice.
And then I don't know the one kid Joseph, is that right? Is that what his name?
Phillips Joseph, yes.
He's from Spire, which I didn't even know Spire was playing ball this year after all the balls left and Jackson left and all that. But he's coming out of Spire. He's a
Spire has new ownership, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that's actually again, since Spire is based, the kind of the nerve center of Spire is like based in Northeast Ohio. Maybe not so much now as I used to, but yeah, they're definitely they changed ownership.
Yeah.
As far as I know, they did that. Yeah.
And that's a signing that I don't know when that happened. I keep up on recruiting pretty well for Oakland. All of a sudden, someone like posted a video with this kid, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Oakland recruit, blah blah blah." I was like, "Who the hell is this?" So I don't know much about him.
Oh, good for you. That's
Cool, sure.
That like alrighty then.
6'7" high school kid. All right, cool. I hope he puts some weight on, and I hope he can shoot or something. I don't know. What you got, kid?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm looking at it because I'm on verbal commits now, obviously, and I'm checking the depth chart. So Kevin Kangur is really going to be the only senior. Not the grad transfer notwithstanding.
Yep.
Wow,
It was a young team. It was a young team last year too. It was only the two seniors. It was just Brechting and X.
Yeah, no kidding. So, yeah, so I'll be honest with you, I personally am looking forward to more Babatunde Swumni.
You say that, but I think he's going to be a bigger force than anyone realizes. No, he's not going to be part of the offense, but he's a big body.
That's
Ooh,
why I'm
big
looking forward to
body.
seeing him. Yeah, and we've seen him. I mean, dude is just yoked up.
I think it was Rothstein when he was visiting last summer described him as like chiseled from ice. Like he's just like he, he's just big.
He'll
Just big.
have a. I think he'll have a couple of. I think he'll have a couple of. I think he'll have a couple of big games where he's just basically, probably against a much smaller team where he's going to be, kind of unstoppable. But I mean, that's a good guy. He's definitely a good guy to have. Oladapo, obviously, a good guy to have. So yeah, yeah, the transfers for me for Oakland don't seem as foreboding as as the numbers would suggest.
No, and even the numbers are inflated just because that team was put together so late that most of those kids had no idea what they signed up for. They had a chance to play some Div 1 basketball. Cool. It didn't work out great. Like the amount doesn't bother me. The only one that moves the needle for me is Trey Maddox, and that sucks, but you're gonna lose kids. It happens.
Of course. Of course.
And again, that situation, I'm not 100% sold that it's done, but we'll see.
Sure.
I've been wrong. It happens. I'm a dumb fan.
Oakland is not the only place, by the way, obviously. No, but again, another situation of a lot of guys playing, a lot of guys who are transferring who aren't, I didn't see them. It's from a contribution standpoint, they didn't kind of stand out to me, and that's Milwaukee. 4 guys have transferred out of there, have entered the transfer portal, in the seemingly in the last week.
Been some movement there, yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. But again, if you look at those who have transferred out, and those who've transferred out, Tyler Barron, Jamar Madge Jr., who I don't even think was even on scholarship. I don't even remember. Bobby Arthur Williams. I mean, these are guys who, I'm trying to figure out exactly. Okay, did you? I can't remember how. None of these guys I saw a lot of on the court, like at all. Or maybe I missed it because I don't follow Milwaukee as much as I should, I guess.
And I felt bad because as all these names came out, that was exactly where I was at. I went, who? Are they important? No? Okay, cool. Like, moving on.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's the thing. It's, we don't, and maybe that's a good sign for Milwaukee, I suppose, even though Milwaukee was terrible last year. And, and I say, they were okay, and then they became terrible again for the second year in a row.
It's what they do.
What they do.
And they're good at it. So, do what you do. You do it well.
Yeah, they're really good at tanking. So, but yeah, I know John Parker was like really gripping that maybe it was gonna be like a freaking mutiny, like like the mutiny we saw last year.
I mean, are we sure it's done?
I don't know. Good question. Yeah, as he understood there were going to be at least 4 guys transferring. We got 4 guys transferring, and none of them, like I said, none of them really moved the needle for me. Unless I'm a Milwaukee fan who knows more about these guys than they do, and John, late of Milwaukee himself, didn't seem too concerned.
No, I mean, none of those I think had big futures or were really contributing much. So it is what it is. Good for them. I hope they find what they're looking for on their next stop.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean that's gonna be next year is gonna be a big year for them, for Milwaukee, just because. But I mean, does it really matter? I mean, it just seems like they're okay with whatever the hell's going on up there. It's just weird.
Yeah.
They're just okay with being blah. They're okay with tanking, I guess.
I mean, at some point something's going to change, and I mean, I would guess that they're waiting to see if Baldwin can land his own kid, and if not, that'll be the tipping point, I suppose.
I don't see that happening. I really don't. I think he's going high major and he's not hanging with his dad. This is not gonna
Yeah.
happen. That's what I think. I mean, that's
Tell that to Antoine.
key difference there. Yeah, I mean, the only offer Antoine Davis got was Houston. I mean,
Yeah.
Pat Baldwin Jr. is getting way more offers.
He's
So
got
it's a
choice.
little bit of a different situation there.
Yeah.
So plus, come on, Mike Davis is definitely not. Pat Baldwin is definitely not Mike Davis. Although I should point out too, and I'm pretty sure I also pointed this out earlier too. Detroit Mercy has also not been immune to the transfer bug either.
He's got a
Although
couple.
they
Nothing
they do have a
big.
couple. They do have a couple. Alonde Legrand, he's transferring.
Hmm.
Um, I'm still trying, and somebody's got to tell me. When did Harrison Curry play? I seriously don't remember Harrison Curry playing for this team last year.
I think he was hurt all year.
He must have been because I didn't see a single second of him.
I think he was hurt.
Yeah, I guess. Well, but once again, and I got to point. I can't stress this enough. It's that Detroit Mercy once again has all of these scholarships, and I'm not sure what they're thinking of in terms of who they're bringing in.
It's
No
okay.
idea.
Mike Davis is going to scour YouTube for the best of highlights and pick those kids again. That's what he does.
Okay, well, good for him.
The highlight reels and
Wish
not.
you would hurry up there.
I mean, I know they've got two incoming freshmen signed. One of them is a point guard out of Detroit. He's like 5'9" out of Cass Tech.
Hi.
And I we'll see. And the other one is a wing, and he put up some huge high school numbers. They look real good, but he's playing in like Div 3, Div 4 against not great competition. And unfortunately, much like the rest of the world, we didn't get to see how the tournament played out. So I'm not sure how good he really is, and I don't know what his AAU team or status is like, but definitely put up some huge numbers in high school. But again, that's playing with not great players, it seems. So we'll see what that team's going to be built around.
I guess. I don't know, man. It's just, I, man, I just, it just seems to me like it's kind of, I don't know. It just seems like it just seems like a never-ending. They just seem to have a dearth of people on that roster. It just seems, they're kind of fighting with one hand tied behind their backs.
Are there any schools on the horizon that have like incoming freshmen that we know about that like we should be excited about? Like,
Yes, Cleveland State. Who, by the way, I am happy to announce that. And you told me this earlier, but Al Eichelberger did announce that he is coming back for his senior year. It's amazing. Cleveland State has a grad transfer who could have grad transferred and didn't grad transfer.
Rashad tried, he didn't get in.
No, that would have scared the shit out of me too. I was actually kind of legitimately gripping about that, where I thought like maybe he might think about missing because he's from Saginaw, right? Al Eichelberger.
Yeah. Yep, he's from Saginaw, so that's
And
about an
so
hour.
I would have been a little I was gripping for like maybe 5 minutes that maybe he would just decide to grad transfer to Oakland or something and just scare the shit out of me, but I'm like, no, not that.
It came up, and obviously Gates and the team at Cleveland State have a good thing going.
They really do. I mean, if you saw if you kind of saw put his Al Eichelberger's tweet, he just absolutely was really happy with his, how everything went this year, and really he really felt that this is the right place for him, and that's absolutely. I'm happy about that personally. Incidentally, I'd like to point. Also, apparently, like literally recently, Dennis Gates was getting love from like Dwayne Wade and stuff. I'm like, come on, stop it! You're not making this any easier.
It's going to be a limited window.
I'm happy for the compliments, but no,
Limited
not
window.
yet, not yet. Please don't leave yet. But yeah, but no, it was absolutely. I mean, I'm just really happy that he's coming back, and I'm also really happy Cleveland State kind of made a big deal about him returning and everything. So it's like, I mean, considering the path that he has had to go down in this, he's gone through so much in terms of, and he even said he's gone through 3 ADs.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, he said he's gone through 3 ADs. So it seems to me that he actually, wow. And it just occurred to me that he's gone through 3 AD. He's meaning that he probably was planning to, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, because 1 at DePaul and then 2 at Cleveland State, right?
That's true. Oh, actually, technically there were 3 ADs at Cleveland State. There was, there was Mike Thomas, that lazy ass. And then there was the guy in the middle who was kind of the caretaker, and then there's Scott Garrett, yeah. But okay. As he mentioned, he's been through having to go through 3 different athletic directors and coaching staffs, and obviously the 3 being DePaul and then the 2 at Cleveland State. So yeah, he's had kind of a winding journey, but he had himself a hell of a year last year. So I guess. It's pretty clear that everybody, and I'm again a little concerned that he's going to be too good and he's going to leave too early.
Well, I mean, it's a good thing for the horizon because you've got Eichelberger who's committed and coming back. You've got Loudon Love committed to coming back, and he could have probably gone to Illinois and played Big Ten closer home.
Absolutely.
So you've got a lot of these players that we can look to kind of lead the league next year.
Yes, absolutely.
But then one of them that's in question a little bit, Darius Quisenberry kind of seems to keep hinting on Twitter that he's looking. And then who was it? Simmons just.
Jelani Simmons, yeah. And Jelani Simmons is in the transfer
Cleveland State killer.
The Cleveland State killer. So, best wishes to you, Jelani Simmons. I'm not sad to see you go. You killed us 2 games this year, and it was so horrible. And I'm like, somebody guard him for the love of God.
I enjoy watching Quisenberry's game, so I hope that he sticks around. But you can clearly see why he might not. Side note: Did you see the article about they're trying to make the Beagley Center better this offseason?
I did see that. I didn't read the whole thing. I saw John Vargo actually tweeted it out about how they wanted to renovate the Beagley Center. And let me tell you, I mean, realistically, with the direction that Youngstown State is going in terms of their progress, I mean, it's kind of the next step for them, I think. A Beagley Center is in bad need of a makeover. So I think that's, and now that basketball has finally kind of gotten out of this also ran, bottom of the conference, just the anchor. Now that they've done that, I think that's again that's a testament to what Jared Calhoun has done. Obviously, he's not done yet, but at the same time, to your point about Darius Quisenberry, I would be, again, the whole social isolation thing is kind of an issue now, because now, I mean, he's sitting at home alone.
Trying to figure out what his next move is.
He's not hanging out at Youngstown State because Youngstown State is only doing online classes. So yeah, and I think that is a phenomenon that I don't think is gonna be. I honestly don't think that's a phenomenon that's going to be theoretically rare to him, where you're sitting at home and you're thinking and you don't have anything else to do. What are you gonna do? Play Uno all day?
Video games seems to be the popular
Video
answer.
games does seem the popular thing. I do not. My video game systems are very old, so I. But anyway, but yeah, but they have. But a lot of these players have a lot of time on their hands now, and they have a lot of time to think about their situations. And I
Yep.
think that may very well be what's happening with Darius Quisenberry. Will he actually decide to transfer? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I mean, how many times have we said, maybe this guy's going to transfer and he doesn't, or maybe this guy's going to stay put and he bolts. I mean, how many times have we gone through that situation?
I mean, at the end of the day, these are more or less kids, and they're having to, with their family, make a choice to gamble on themselves. Do they think they can go high major and parlay that into a better, pro career somewhere, or sometimes the mid major route is the better route to playing, Euroball, or what they think their best bet is to get where they want to be. It's a gamble on yourself, and that's what they have a lot of extra time right now to try to figure out.
And let's not forget, looming large in all of this is this discussion within the NCAA of the one-time transfer waiver, just making it standard. That Power Five conferences are starting to sign off on, that are kind of saying, okay, that's probably something. Of course, they would, but yeah, I mean, if that becomes a thing, if that one-time waiver becomes a reality, I don't know. That could put into play some people we didn't think were in play.
It could put Foster Lawyer on Oakland next year. I'm just saying.
You've been pushing Foster Lawyer to Oakland for a while now. I could tell. Now
Yeah,
Foster Lawyer.
I mean,
Now he's officially in the transfer portal, right? Or is he still technically at Michigan?
I haven't seen him in the portal. I'm pretty sure he's still at Michigan State.
Interesting. I said Michigan. Wow, the Michigan State people are gonna kick my ass.
Yeah. But no, most Michigan State people just don't seem to think that he's going to fit. He looks out of place, but man, a kid like him at a mid-major like Oakland, that kid destroyed people in high school. Like, he was really good, and if he's not fitting with Izzo in that system, I know a place just not too far that is
I
a
had a
point guard.
feeling, yeah. By the way, speaking of, again, you mentioned freshmen coming in freshmen coming in. Alec Oglesby from Cleveland State. I think he's going to be definitely, in fact, he's got a leg up on everybody else because he actually graduated in December. And he enrolled at Cleveland State in January. So he was already on campus. Now,
Has
of
he been
course,
playing with the practice squad or anything? Do you know?
I don't know I don't know the whole story behind that, but well, he's not doing it now. Nobody is. But it seems like he got some work in. Because I believe that
That's
once
huge.
he enrolled, he was technically a redshirt. So once he did that, apparently he had the opportunity to practice and work out with the team. He obviously couldn't participate naturally, but yeah, and so he did that in January, and I guess he's been on campus. He was on campus between January and between when campus closed down. But yeah, he probably got at least a couple months in practicing with the team. And that's 2 months that not a lot of freshmen are getting.
No, that's great. I mean, it's time to start hopefully seeing some names on rosters and figuring out what this league might look like in the near future.
Yeah, we got to start looking. Well, of course now of course, since the transfer port is, since they moved since it looks very clear that the spring signing period, they're going to move that up. Actually, I should. Speaking of Youngstown State and people committing, Alex Vargo verbal to Youngstown State. He's a guard, 6'3". Maybe he cancels out Jelani Simmons leaving. I don't know.
You know what else we got to start doing, Bob?
What's that?
We got to start paying attention to what's going on at PFW.
Oh dear, you are right. Hello, yes, and welcome
There are
all
problems.
Fort Wayne fans. I know you exist. I also know one of y'all better sign up for the Fan Battle Royale that is still slated for the first Sunday of May. Still happening. I know not much. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to talk about for 2 episodes worth, but we're going to do it. Damn it.
Oh, that'll be easy. That'll be easy.
Oh, we'll yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, like I said, the sun shall rise. The sun shall rise again. Maybe a
But
little
yeah,
later than we expect, but it will get here.
Fort Wayne is, I think, pretty much officially our problem at this point. So
Fort Wayne is officially our problem. Yes, that's true, because now that spring sports are canceled, welcome Fort Wayne. Now we gotta figure out who you guys are.
well, I found some of them on Twitter thanks to other friends, and yeah,
Now,
let's go.
now that I am thinking about it, now because I'm thinking about, obviously I'm thinking about guests for the off season. We're taking next week off because reasons.
Good to know.
We're taking next week off because of reasons, but April I'm trying to figure out who we can get on. This does mean I gotta get in touch with Kay Felder again.
Yeah, that one.
Because he's on board. We just got to figure out when.
Cool.
And I also gotta wrangle with Rashad Phillips's. I gotta figure out his schedule. So
me and Rashad had a real good conversation on Twitter the other day.
That is outstanding. That is actually great. I mean,
when Rashad tells me that I actually have a good read on a situation, that makes me feel good because I'm a dumb fan, and he actually does that for real.
Oh yeah. He just sportstalk2319.com. He actually he's got some new content on there now. And by the way, because of everything that's going on with his, and he just so much with that. I definitely want him on board. I got to get him back on. We've been going back and forth in terms of availability. Hopefully we can get him in, but we got to get a Fort Wayne. We got to get somebody from Fort Wayne. Who covers the team or something, and get them on board and figure out, because I'm sure the sports writers, right? I'm sure there's a sports writer down in Fort Wayne who's, let's face it, got nothing better to do today, or probably for the next 8 weeks.
Not much to cover,
guys. But hey, we still want to hear from you, because again, it may not be going on right now, but it will be going on eventually. Eventually.
Cool. Yeah.
I gotta figure all those things out, and then and all leading up to the 2020 Jimmy Lemke Fan Battle Royale, which of course the page of which of course I haven't even put up, because I said I was going to put it up this week and I hadn't, because I suck.
It happens.
It happens. So, all right, so that's going to do it for us. Like I said, we're going to be off next week because reasons. But as we said at the beginning of the show, obviously we say it again, horizonroundtable.com. Definitely go on there, because we got Kyle Craven's recap of the tournament. It gets posted up, which goes way beyond the games. Definitely come for his thoughts and the experience. Stay for the cow. I'm not spoiling it.
Well done, Kyle. Well done.
The horizonroundtable.com. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of other things going on. I know John's working on some stuff. And of course, again, subscribe to us on podcast apps, iTunes, Spotify. Yeah, I say iTunes. It's, what year is this? Apple Podcasts.
I'll just let you go, man.
And of course, you can pull us up on your Amazon or Google devices. So yeah, go bug Alexa or yell "Hey Google." I don't think Siri can do this yet.
She's behind.
That's funny, actually. I just said that. I just invoked Google and it just pulled up on my phone. That's awesome. So, all right. So I'm leaving you with that, guys. So. We'll catch you in a couple weeks, and thank you for listening.